If you're looking to buy the least expensive new construction homes in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex right now, you're in the right video. Because today we're going straight to the bottom in price. I'll be sharing with you the new home builders that are reputable, very, very important, that are reputable and are selling brand new homes for around $200,000. But more importantly, I want to give you some in-depth insights on how to actually buy these ultra low cost new builds. Because as you can imagine, if you're buying a brand new home for $200,000 in today's money, there's probably something in the fine print you need to be aware of. Now, first, let's identify who these brand new home builders are ideal for. These ultra low cost new home builders are ideal for those individuals that don't mind commuting, because oftentimes the communities that you find these builders in are going to be in a rural setting, because that's where the land and the cost to develop is the least expensive. These builders are also ideal for individuals that want a home right now, because they build on speculation and they know that at some point in time before that home is done, you're going to see their advertisement and you're going to buy it because it's a really good deal. Which brings us to another reason of why these builders might be ideal for you. And that's because of the huge incentives these builders are offering. They may not offer you a ton of discount on the asking price because, let's face it, they're already at rock bottom prices. However, they will give you insane deals on the way that you finance that purchase. They're going to make sure that they buy down the interest rate, and they're going to make sure that you pay as little out of pocket at the closing table. So let's get started on the first one that you probably have heard about, and that is Lennar. Lennar is one of the largest home builders in the country, and is actually one of the largest home builders active right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There's presently about 50 Lennar communities that you can choose from. And it doesn't even matter if you want to buy in the north, south, east, or west, you're gonna find a Lennar community where you'll be able to find a brand new home nearing the $200,000 mark. Now, rather than going into specifics about Lennar itself, because I'm gonna go ahead and guess that you probably don't have a very favorable opinion of them, I'm gonna go through the rest of the 5 builders that I have lined up for you, because for the most part, they all have the same pros and cons. So I wanna give you all of those pros and cons at once. But more importantly, I wanna share with you the number one thing that you can do when you're buying these ultra low cost new builds. So let's continue. Let's talk about Starlight Homes for a second. Starlight is actually a division of Ashton Woods, and this is actually gonna be a common thread that you're gonna see in multiple builders that we feature here moving forward. We're gonna find a low-cost builder owned and operated by another brand that's not associated to low cost. But let's continue. Starlight does not have as many options as Lennar, given that there's 11 active communities to choose from in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And you're gonna notice that most of the communities are gonna be found in the northeast side of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, the price range for Starlight is gonna be in the mid 200s all the way up to the low 400,000. And by the way, if we're just meeting, my name is Jaime Resendiz. Welcome to the DFW Homeowner, where you'll find real estate information that no one else is sharing with you. Home builder number 3 is another giant. We're talking about LGI Homes with 18 communities to choose from in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Here again, very similar to Lennar, you can find an LGI community regardless if you're going to the north, the south, the east, or the west. And the price range with LGI is going to be in the mid 200s to the high 400,000s. The 4th home builder is Centex, a Pulte brand. And here again, we have a low cost brand owned by another brand that's not known for low cost inventory. Now, Centex is not a home builder that is as big and as known in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There's only 6 active Centex communities that are being sold right now, and the prices are going to range from the low 300,000s to the mid 400s. And speaking of a builder that doesn't have as many communities, at least here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we have to talk about KB Homes. Although KB Homes is one of the largest home builders in the entire country, they don't have as much of a presence here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, where they presently have 7 communities that start in the mid 200,000s and go all the way up to the mid 400,000s. Now, the 6th ultra low cost home builder is Century's Communities. This one's probably one that you haven't heard all that much because they don't advertise as much as the other players in this space. Century presently has 11 communities that range from the high 200,000s to the low 400,000s. But now let's get to the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the largest home builder in the country. Let's talk about DR Horton, which has almost 100 communities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, I originally wasn't going to cover DR Horton, at least in this list, because I have a mega video just on DR Horton talking about the low cost options that they offer, the mid-price, and more of the luxury. But I thought it's only fair that I do include DR Horton, considering that the starting price point for the DR Horton, at least on the express line, is in the high 200,000s. But here again, DR Horton is not exclusively a low cost option, because there are some DR Horton homes that get close to $1 million. Now, those are the builders that are offering the ultra low cost options for you if you're trying to buy a brand new home. Now, there's several characteristics that you're going to find very similar, very common with these home builders. And one of those items is that for the most part, they're going to build in rural areas, which means that if you buy in these communities, be prepared to commute. They're not going to be in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex at these prices. And this also means that there's going to be ongoing construction, not just in the community that you happen to live in, but in the entire area. We're talking infrastructure, we're talking towns, we're talking restaurants, we're talking streets, we're talking everything, which is often going to bring one of the biggest downsides of buying new in a rural area, and that's high property taxes. You're not only going to have your set property taxes, but you're also going to need to add MUDs and PIDs. These are special property taxes that are going to apply only to these types of communities. And as you could probably already imagine, with these low cost options, there's zero room for modifications. Whatever's in that home is what you're going to get. You're not going to change anything with the cabinets, anything with the color, anything with the flooring, nothing. But here's how we start to protect ourselves, because that's really the whole point of this video. There's several questions I want you to ask about the community and about the builder. I want you to ask if they're selling homes to investors in the community that you're looking to buy in. And if they are selling to investors, I want you to ask if there's a cap. Because typically, if a community is selling to investors with no cap, you can trust that investors at these price points are going to be buying 5, 10, 20, 30. They're going to buy out the entire area, which oftentimes means that your investment is about to depreciate pretty quickly. Another question that I want you to ask is about the home warranties that the builder offers. The standard home warranties used to be 1, 2, and 10 years. 1 year for your builder's warranty, 2 years for your mechanical, and 10 years for structural. But as of a couple of years ago, the regulations changed, which many builders took to heart, and they're no longer offering a 1, 2, and 10. Many of them have modified their home warranties to 1, 2, and 6, which means that instead of you getting 10 years of structural coverage, aka your foundation, they've reduced it down to 6. And in Texas, that foundation coverage is super important, because there's a high likelihood that you're going to need to do some foundation work at one point or another. Those are general questions that I want you to ask about the builder itself. There's 5 things I want you to ask about more specifically that are going to ensure that you get a really good deal on the build. I want you to ask if they're including an appliance package, which includes the washer, dryer, and fridge. I want you to ask if they're including gutters, and not just the front, not just the back. I'm talking about the entire home. I want you to ask if they're including the sprinkler system, because believe it or not, here again, at these price points, don't expect these types of items to be included in the build. And here again, we're talking about Texas. So you want that sprinkler system to water your foundation to help you minimize the risk of any foundation issues down the road. I also want you to ask if they're going to be including the blinds. Now, to be fair, with the blinds item, this is something you have to negotiate in most new build homes. So don't always expect that the builders here are going to be able to throw those in. And the 5th item that I want you to ask about specifically with these low cost home builders is about the garage door opener. Don't make the assumption that they're going to include that in your build. And now for the best way to protect yourself when you're buying an ultra low cost new build. This is the best way that you can ensure that what you're buying is actually worth it. Even if you have no idea about the home builder, this is going to be valuable for you. When you go to the new build community, please ask the sales rep at that model home to show you one of the homes that is ready to go, to show you a home that is at the final walkthrough phase. I want you to be able to see firsthand what that product looks like, because that's going to give you everything you need to know about the quality of that home builder. It's actually not the model home that you walked into. that's their best impression. That is the ideal. In fact, some of the things that you're gonna find in that model home don't even exist anymore. They can't get those materials, or they're not getting those materials. You need to see firsthand to see the type of product that they are currently delivering to the home buyers right now. And pro tip, if you're working with the real estate agent, please make sure that you register them when you go to that community for the first time, because the builder needs to know that you're a representative, because the builder needs to know that somebody else is involved in the transaction that is helping protect you in the event that you move forward and purchase with that builder. And if you already have that real estate professional that knows new construction and is helping you, fantastic. But if you don't, I would love to have an opportunity to connect with you and have a conversation about buying new construction homes here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I also want to invite you to check out this video right here that's going to show you how to buy a new construction home in Dallas-Fort Worth.